Okay, lose to Brazil, draw in kind of a last-minute scramble from Jude Bellingham at the end there for the England team. James, what did we learn about the favourites going into this competition over these two friendlies?
I wouldn't say England are the favorites. After I feel like first of all, y- too much talk, too much talk with no real substance. To me, that's the biggest thing that I've realized about this England team. Don't get it twisted, Jack. Are they top 5 team to win it? Of course, but to say that they were out and out favorites, that Paul Merson talking about how he can't see how England don't win it, I think it's crazy. I
Yeah,
get
that's a
England.
bit
England
heavy.
missing a bunch of players. England missing a bunch of players, but Belgium missing a bunch of players too. France, Germany, England are one. They're not an outstanding. They're not like like how great Spain was. They are in a very good bunch of pool of teams who can win it. The biggest thing for England is that, Jack, let's be truthfully honest. The history tells you that England don't have it. The history tells you that England usually choke when it matters most. England, yeah, are the Spurs of international football. Yeah,
Oh,
all this
that's
so-called history.
that's
It's
so
true.
heavy.
It's true. No, it's so happy, but Jack, it's true. It's the history of the Tottenham. It's also the history of the England. You build them up
Well,
to let you down at every occasion. But the one thing I'm going to say and I can appreciate about this England team with the draw was the resilience to stay with it, Jack, because that game looked like it was getting away from them in terms of view of getting frustrated, chances were being created, and then lots of turnovers. Belgium looked like they could have got the third and really ended the game, and England were getting really frustrated. The fact that they stuck at it and they got the goal at the end, to me, will only give them confidence. And also, Jude Bellingham's him. It's
yeah,
him.
he bosses games, and he already looks like he's 26, 27 years old, the way he plays and his attitude, body language, and all that good stuff. I want to go back to, I think he does. I think he's a Chelsea fan, but it's a guy with kind of like longer hair, white guy. Like it's kind of longer. Like I think just on his
Is it
neck.
Rory Jennings?
Yes, that's it. Oh, you pulled that out of thin air. That was amazing. He talked about how England don't really beat teams in knockout games, like especially in World Cups and kind of major tournaments. And any time that we come up against a team that we should probably lose to, we usually do end up losing to. I still haven't gone into a game with that faith yet. And I look at a couple of key players. I don't think Jude Bellingham's this way, but like Phil Foden, if it's the dying minutes and it's a one-on-one and Foden's through, I don't think I back him to score. Do you know what I mean? I'm still don't have that confidence level yet. I really liked what I saw from Kobbie Mainoo, and I'll give you. I mean, again, at the time when you said it, I thought, man, it's kind of bold. Like I wasn't against it. I was like, oh, maybe, but it felt kind of bold. Now it feels bold to not put him in. It feels like you're making a statement if he doesn't play, because I know Madison came on as a sub and it's kind of tricky coming on as a sub and whatnot. But he came on and did not look the part like Kobbie Mainoo looked the part. And England had real control in the middle of the park. They didn't create too much, which was kind of worrying. But in terms of just control, a little deeper around the halfway line, Bellingham, Rice, and Mainoo, that looked really, really nice. Did you see the same thing, or do you disagree with me?
Jack, Mainu looks so impressive, and people talking about, oh, it might be like international football might be a little bit too much for him. Jack, he's playing for Manchester United. He's
Right.
playing for arguably the most like scrutinizing the most, just a team that everybody watches week in week out. He's dealing with that pressure. That pressure, he deals with it. Yeah. So how can he not deal with the England pressure? I get it. The England pressure might be a little tad bit more due to the fact it's the whole country. But Manchester United is worldwide. Yeah.
Yeah.
The microscope is on him so much. So I'm thinking he can deal with it.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about the play, Jack. Jack, he has to start.
Yeah.
He has to start, Jack.
Yeah. He does.
Listen, England, you mentioned the word creativity. Yeah, and Harry Kane was missing today. Saka was missing today. Rashford didn't play. A bunch of players that would have made that creativity. It would have came from them also. Kobbie Mainoo did something for that goal that England scored that no other England midfielder could do, Jack. He's facing away from his goal with 3, 4 players around surrounding him. If that was Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips, even Declan Rice in that position, Jack, what are they doing? They're playing where they're facing, popping it back in there, let
Yep.
that ball be recycled side to side.
Yep.
This guy, yeah, this 18-year-old boy, yeah, showed a bit of balls, Jack, turned under pressure, yeah, dropped the shoulder, was able to play a through ball into Jude Bellingham, and that's how the game was. That's how the goal and the chance was created by this guy, yeah, looking to play forward, looking to penetrate, not looking to move the ball side to side, looking to do something different, and he had something that I Jack, no other English midfielder has.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's young, cool. There's a lot of young players who are playing in different teams. Play him. Pedri was doing it for Barcelona. Gavi was doing it for Spain. Who's the guy?
Well,
Lamine Lamar or something like that doing it.
Endrick has
Endrick
just
for
scored
Brazil.
2 goals.
Endrick just scored at the Bernabeu today. Scored Wembley the other day.
Right.
Play these guys. Play
Yeah.
them. Listen, there's no debate anymore. You know, I'm telling you this right now. For England to get the best out of a player like Jude Bellingham, you need forward-thinking guards.
Yeah.
Jude, forward, and they're going to float into these little pockets of space. And when you don't have a player that can pierce that ball into him like um like Jude Bellingham is used to, we're having Tony Cruz and Luka Modric and Camavinga push that ball into him, like Phil Foden's used to having Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne play that ball into him. It's not going to work. You need a forward-thinking player to play into these guys. Because ultimately, international football, that game that we've seen today is what is a lot of international games is going to be like, especially for England. Teams sitting 2 banks of 4, moving side to side with many little gaps opening here, there. The question is, can you play that pass? Yeah.
And
can I get my best players in the game?
yeah.
He can do that, Jack.
Well, and it's like you say, it's the small windows. It's the through the legs kind of passes too. It's the if I can just time this right with his step, he's happy to play those. But then also he plays it, he moves to receive the ball back again, and then there's a third runner, and he has the wherewithal to catch them as well. So he was super impressive. I don't really know what to do with the wing position. I think in commentary today they talked about Anthony Gordon and that he had a really good game in the first game. I personally didn't see that. I know we're missing Saka, of course, as well. I'm disappointed we didn't get
Rashford didn't play.
Rashford. Well, I mean, and when he came on, he does strike fear into defenders. You can see it with the body language of defenders. But I had a friend say this to me on Sunday. Rashford doesn't know what he's going to do. So good luck being a fullback.
Jack, he really doesn't.
Good luck being a fullback and trying to predict what Rashford's going to do if he doesn't know what he's going to do. But the wide position worries me a little bit. I wish we'd seen a bit more of Cole Palmer. James, I'm really worried about Ben Chilwell. I just don't see it. I think there were times where he kind of dropped in and did that inverted thing, and I kind of thought, oh, this maybe works. But I'm also thinking in my head, I'd kind of rather have Trent do that and then somebody on the left side drop back a little bit more. So it didn't really work or make sense to me. And James, underrated performer probably over the course of both international breaks. Jared Bowen looked pretty strong in both games. I'm not saying he needs to start, but if he comes off the bench, again, a fullback might have to think twice because it's the ability to dribble with speed and direct too, because he does have that.
Jack, if we're going off merit, if we're going off the fact of performances this season, he's a shoo-in.
Yeah.
Jack, he's on the plane. That is a no discussion. What he's been able to do in an uncomfortable position with West Ham this season, having to play in multiple positions in difficult circumstances, Jack. There is no doubt this guy should be going. He offers, Jack, a goal threat that not a lot of the England players offer. Like he's type of guy I think that he gets into that position, he's scoring. He's probably in a wide area. He's probably the best finisher England have.
That's an insane thing to think. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's an insane.
I think he's a better finisher than Saka. I think he's a better finisher than Rashford. I think he's a better finisher than Foden. Like when he gets into these positions, Jack, he's pretty rootless.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Lewis Dunk didn't take his chance, which was really disappointing. He was somebody who I was trying to, I was excited to see him with Stones, and I thought, oh man, this Brighton thing, playing with the ball, this kind of stuff. He didn't feel like he grasped the chance at all. I personally would not have a lot of faith in him starting in a knockout game.
I feel like it doesn't look good. Even for the Vinicius goal, the other day, Jack, the ball over the top, it came from him kind of stepping out, and then Vinicius got in, and then Lukaku really kind of had a really bullying. But again, it's just a completely different way of playing. England to Brighton. While De Zerbi's so meticulous with stuff, England obviously it's structured to a certain point, but a lot of the stuff is also a bit off the cuff, and he's not sure. And also, Jack, the quality in certain areas is high, and is he at that level, Jack? That's the question.
Yeah,
Is he
I
better than what England have?
yeah, I'm going to say he's not. And again, maybe you start looking at names like Branthwaite and these kinds of guys coming through. Ezri Konsa, I think, at points looked really good as well. Um, James, how much do you think is it indicative of the performances up front without Harry Kane? Like in commentary, there was a discussion of who goes. Is it Watkins or Tony? Kind of a two-part question. A, would you take both? And if you can't take both, who would you take? Because in commentary, they had their kind of heart set on Ivan Toney. Is that disrespectful to Ollie Watkins? Does Ollie Watkins deserve to go as well? What are your thoughts on that?
I think you have to take both, Jack. You have to take all three, because they all both add something very, very different to it. I was quite impressed with what overall Ivan Toney Jack was doing. I thought
I
with
agree.
the limited service he had, he was able to cause Belgium a lot of issues. Jack, his movement, like off the ball, the fact that Jack, his penalty record there is is amazing. And Jack, that will come into consideration at some point. The heartbreak England have felt with the penalty. So that, to me, he has to go. And Ollie Watkins, he adds something different. The fact England were able to bring him on and the ball over the top, he was able to run in behind. It's something different. There was a couple of years ago, I think in the 2018 World Cup, England had Kane going, Harry Kane. They had Vardy and somebody else who pretty Danny Welbeck at the time going. So you need that different bit of variety in a game that maybe England might be getting out of hand. They need a goal. You can call on two different style of players. So Jack, I'm taking them both.
And then final thing, my final like concern or thing that I'm worried about, a bit worried about subs. It just feels like it's, oh, he does something different. It doesn't feel like there's a thought process of, oh, I tell you what we'll do, we'll kind of do this or we'll kind of do that. It feels like just throwing you know what against the wall and just kind of seeing what happens. I don't want to read too much into the subs over two friendlies that happen prior to as we get into the summer, but anybody coming on, I feel like England's starting 11 is England's starting 11 at the moment. I don't feel like there's a massive amount of movement that you can take away in terms of increasing the quality in the starting lineup. So I don't know what the subs look like. When we're winning a game, I don't know what the subs look like. When we're losing a game, I don't know what the subs look like either. And that makes me feel a little bit uneasy as well.
I think it might be a bit unfair to England. I feel like the depth in the team is very hard, Jack. Look at it, Jack. Look at the two strikers who we mentioned. They're the wide players, Jack. The fact that we don't know who should start, and you got players left at home like Cole Palmer. I don't think didn't
He didn't
feature.
feature,
Um,
yeah. He should have.
Sterling. Sterling isn't gonna feature, which is weird. Rashford. What's gonna happen with him? Foden. Like Jack, there's so much there. And Jared Bowen, who's to me, who's made this, who's really, really put himself like in the area to actually go on the plane. Midfield is a bit of an issue because Conor Gallagher didn't make anybody go, "Wow, what's going
No.
to happen with Jordan Henderson?" I can understand there, but Jack, going forward, players like James Madison too. There is a lot to look at for England. But in terms of what we need, it might not be. Oh, you're going to be the first player goes on, but there is a lot of depth there. There is a lot of options to pick from. There might not be the sole one to be like, oh, it's things going wrong. We go to you. But as I mentioned, there is definitely options there.
And I'm a bit bothered Palmer didn't feature at all because, again, you mentioned penalties. England gets stuck by penalties a lot, right?
Hmm.
Cole Palmer is cool, very, very cool, kind of Ivan Toney esque in the penalty department as well. So that's somebody who I'd have liked to have seen come on, maybe just to get a bit of a feel. Because if he manages to go and then he comes on for a knockout and take a penalty, but he's not even been on the pitch, I can't even imagine how difficult that would be if you've not actually got a feel for the game and your first touch is a penalty in a knockout kind of phase. You know what I mean? But guys at home, let us know what you think. James and I have kind of said our piece here. James, big shout out for him calling the Kobbie Mainoo thing, and it worked, guys. It worked. Would you take
It really did.
Watkins, Tony, and Kane, or would you have to make a choice between Tony and Watkins? Anybody feature who you would rather not have seen? Anybody who didn't feature who you'd like to have seen? Let us know in the comments section. Drop a like on the video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already. And until next time, me and James, we'll see you.